I bought yet another Muse kit, Jazz's Customize-It kit this time. I love customizing stuff, so this kit should suit me. Let's get stuck straight into it. Instructions, yep, quick flick through and they're full colour, not too much writing, so I'll give them a good read later. First item to customise, mini skateboards. Yeah, okay. Next is an infinity cube. Not really thrilled with that. Pop sockets, okay, cool, like that. A wooden container, love that. I love painting anything wood. Except maybe wooden sunglasses. Might give those a miss. Then we have a little white container with ears for something. Not really digging that, but okay. Now this sounds more promising. A thermo cup. Yep, love it. A sketchbook, brilliant, practical, that's awesome. Some shrink plastic, yeah, I can have fun with that. And some pin backs. Wait, what? Oh, for the shrink plastic. Good idea, can turn them into pins. That's all the things to customise, so let's move on to the art supplies. Pack of 3 brushes, yep, seem decent quality. Some gesso for prep, varnish for finishing, and most importantly, the paint pens. We have a pack of pastel, neon, and classic colours. Good, I like variety. After a proper read through of the instructions to make sure I get it right, I'm going to start off with my favourite item, the thermo cup. I start out by making a plan on my iPad so I can design the whole thing the correct size. I wrap a piece of paper around the cup, mark it, then measure the paper. I use that measurement for the canvas size in Procreate and get to drawing. I'm using a 90s vibe print I did on a backpack from a previous video as the design for today. I did initially start drawing them from scratch, but realised being digital, I could take a photo of the images and then trace them. So much quicker. To prep the surface of this very shiny, smooth cup, I use a fine sandpaper and very lightly scuff the surface of the cup. Maybe just a coat of gesso would have been sufficient, but once I put a design on here, I don't want it to come off. With the shine taken off the bottle, I put down a coat of gesso. Once I had trimmed the printed design, I traced the pattern onto the bottle using the good old pencil on the back of the paper trick. While it's a tried and tested method of transferring a design, it is time consuming and it can get a little messy, so I really need to invest in some transfer paper. Now we get to paint, and I want the background to be a nice light colour, so I thought the pastel pink marker would be suitable, but it's not light enough for me. So I pumped the paint out of the marker and mixed it with some paint from the white marker. After a while of doing this, I wish I had just settled for one of the colours straight out of the pens, as pumping paint out is time consuming and tedious. But I had it in my head what colour I wanted, and I just couldn't compromise on the background being too dark. I changed that shade of pink paint for the background like 3 times and still wasn't happy. And I had this problem throughout painting this cup. Wanting a certain colour, so pumping and mixing and still not happy. I shouldn't have got so hung up on what hue and shade the colours were, as I really hate using markers for paint. I find it frustrating. I'm just a pedantic old lady who gets a bit stuck in her own head and ways sometimes. Plus, I was really trying hard to stick to what was supplied in the kit. I've got a whole drawer full of paint pens, plenty of shades I love that put down nice opaque and even layers in just a few coats, but I had it in my head I've got to use only what's in the kit so I can really test it out. But why do I do this to myself? The supplies to make the job easier and more enjoyable are sitting literally right next to me, but I refuse to use them. And that's on me. I shouldn't be so strict on my projects. I was even trying to only use the brushes supplied, but due to the detailed design and my need to mix custom colours, I really did need a finer brush. The kit supplied 3 flathead brushes, which I struggled not having a pointy one. I did end up caving in and grabbed one of my own brushes to help me with smaller details. However, only having flathead brushes did push me to learn to use them in different ways, and it got me thinking. I don't know a lot about paintbrushes. You know, all the different head styles and how best to use them. And I could look up some videos and tutorials, but I'm very much a hands-on learner and I enjoy learning by doing, making mistakes and doing it again. Maybe there's a video idea in that. One giant painting using every style of paintbrush head I can get my hands on. I would have to buy a few more brushes though. Oh, what a shame. But imagine how much learning I could get out of it. Maybe drop some suggestions on some more obscure style of paintbrushes in the comments. Once the colour is on, I really hate how this is looking. It's so janky and streaky, and I've already done like 3 coats and I feel like it's not getting any better and I'm totally over pumping paint. So I'm really hoping this black outline and a few highlights and touch-ups will improve it. When the design is complete, I use the varnish from the kit and give it a coat. And in the process, I ruin it some more. In my haste, I forgot that when varnishing paint pens, you have to be careful. You can only go over an area once. You can't drag the brush back and forth. I read the instructions and it does say a light coat. So once I realised what was happening, I used a lighter hand, but still managed to make some smudges. So I'm calling it. I hate this. It's time to move on. For the next item to customise, I want to do my other favourite item in the kit, the sketchbook. I think this is a great addition to the kit and I have just the design I want to put on it. It's a drawing that I've been working on in my downtime. I originally did it with another project in mind, but that didn't end up happening, so I'm glad to finally have a place to put it, as I really like it. I had started colouring this on my iPad, but I'm gonna let the colour selection of the paint pens push me out of my comfort zone on this one, and I'm going with the neons. After one coat, it's very patchy, so I did another coat. But the second coat was still too patchy for my liking, so I went in for a third. Still wasn't perfect, but I really need to stop chasing perfect in this video as I'm driving myself nuts. So I moved straight onto the outline. I don't normally go for neons, they just aren't my thing. I love nice soft muted tones and pastels, but once the black outline is on, it turns out I now love neon. I would not have picked these colours for this, but I love how it just pops. Once the design is on, however, it looks incomplete. So I splash around a few more blobs to occupy that negative space, and yeah, I'm happier with it now. I really like this. What a fun little sketchbook. So let's put my new little custom sketchbook to good use for the last project. I've been sketching a lot lately, however, it's all been digital. But after customising this sketchbook, I'm inspired to put pencil to paper, and I'm just happy doing my thing. The type of art I love. Just simple sketching, nothing fancy, just thinking of a very simple idea and seeing if I can get it to work on the paper. Never looks exactly like I imagine. My skills just don't quite meet my imaginations, but it's challenging to try, and I end up with something that is mine. Something that my own hands drew and my own personal style. And sketching has always been where I fell in love with my ideas. I like things when they are still in sketch form. It's usually when I add the colour that I start to hate it. But I'm slowly overcoming that. After a few sketches of my go-to, nature, animals, bugs, mushrooms and flowers, all in cutesy form, I try something different. I was looking at some local street art recently and I was inspired by some cute little characters I saw. They were a very simple shape and design and I wanted to create my own little simple creature thing. So I started out with a few little ideas, then settled on one. And this one I'm going to turn into a keychain using the shrink film from the kit. I've used shrink film before, a long time ago. And from memory, even though it was a cheap version back then, it was just this easy to use stuff. You trace your design onto a thin sheet of plastic, then colour it, using, in this case, paint pens. With paint markers, you want to do just one coat, otherwise the paint can go bubbly and funky. And I want this thing looking really cute and neat. I'm literally going to be using whatever it is I create as my keyring. My current one was a gift from a student. I love it, but after years of use, it's deteriorated badly. So I'm keen to make my own custom keychain with my own custom character. After laying down the colour on this creature, I'll come up with a name later, I do some little pom-poms and a fluffy heart to match. I want this to be a happy little jingly trio. Then it's time to bake. And it did not go well. This looks total crap. I tried to flatten it out after baking, which I gave it plenty of time to uncurl in the oven, but when it curled, it went beyond repair. And the paint job went all gross and bubbly. It's not good. So let's try this again. I repeat all 3 designs and it better work this time as I have no more shrink plastic left and I'm invested in this design. I cut it out simpler this time, hoping that will help. Which it does, but still not perfect. Plus, these paint pens on this shrink film is just weird. Well, watch this. It just crumbles off, the surface anyway. The heart still curled over, which annoys me, but I have no more shrink film to redo this, so I can't experiment to see where I went wrong or make it better. Even though I don't like the finish on these, I want to complete what I started. So I brush off all the paint dust, give them a coat of varnish, then put a jump ring on each and connect them all together. It is cute and I like my new little, whatever this creature is. I might need help on giving my new little creature a species name, like Puggles or Pips or, yeah, this is why I need help with this. So that's it. This is what I created. A very janky looking cup that I hate, a neon sketchbook that I love, and a shrink film key ring that I like the design, but the finish sucks. I hope you've enjoyed seeing me customise some stuff, and if you're here this late in the video, I'm going to give you a sneak peek at another Muse kit I have that I'm going to be making a video for soon-ish. And I can't wait. I hope to see you then.